In the shadowy corridors of South Africa's elite, a figure of unparalleled wealth and power lurks, steering the course of nations from the shadows. Born into privilege, Johan Rupert, scion of a business dynasty, inherited a legacy of opulence and industry. With a net worth that soars above 150 billion rand and ownership stakes in well-known brands like F&B, Outsurance, Sunbake, Netterberg, Rainbow, and numerous others. The whispers that virtually every South African interacts with a Rupert-affiliated product on a daily basis are far from exaggerated. But beneath the veneer of luxury lies a web of intrigue and mystery that stretches across continents. In a realm where enigma and suspense reign supreme, Johan Rupert's story unravels like an unsolved puzzle, leaving us all to ponder whether anyone can truly fathom the profound depths of his wealth, influence, and dominion. Join us as we embark on a journey to delve into the intricate layers of this enigmatic figure's legacy. We cannot discuss Johan Rupert without first looking at his father, Anton Rupert, who through hard work, dedication, and loans from the Afrikaner government through the First Economic Congress of the People, built an empire through business ventures primarily focused on the tobacco and liquor industries. He established his business empire with the acquisition of a bankrupt tobacco company called Voorbrand, which would later become the forerunner of Rembrandt. He also founded the Distillers Corporation, which is now known as Distel, and played a significant role in promoting and marketing South African estate wines and high-quality brandy brands such as Oude Meester and Richelieu. Additionally, Rupert ventured into the cream liqueur market with the creation of the Amarula brand. What set Anton apart was his meticulous attention to detail and his innovative approaches to marketing. He believed in the power of effective marketing to create a strong brand presence and connect with consumers. Rupert's emphasis on marketing played a crucial role in the success of his business ventures. He would personally review and approve every new marketing campaign or brand design before they were finalized. Anton Rupert's attention to detail and insistence on quality control set his brands apart. He wanted every product, whether it be cigarettes or liquor, to be a masterpiece. This attention to detail and commitment to delivering high-quality products helped build trust and loyalty among consumers. Rupert's marketing vision was not limited to South Africa. He aimed to position his brands on an international scale. This was exemplified by the launch of the Peter Stuyvesant brand, which became one of the world's biggest-selling international cigarette brands. Rupert's international marketing campaigns, featuring images of global playgrounds and a youthful, dynamic brand image, resonated with consumers and helped drive sales. The extent of Anton Rupert's influence and connections becomes evident in the 1958 acquisition of the well-established manufacturer Carreras, which held ownership of the prestigious Dunhill brand of luxury goods. Yet, merely having the financial means to secure the company wasn't sufficient to sway the legacy owners. It was at this juncture that Anton Rupert sought the assistance of financier Edmund de Rothschild to persuade the legacy shareholders. With the endorsement of this influential figure, the deal was successfully sealed. On to Johan, who studied economics at Stellenbosch University during the 1970s, but dropped out before completing his qualification and ventured into international finance. Rupert's journey took him to the heart of darkness, New York, where he delved into the elusive world of banking, joining Chase Manhattan Bank through leveraging his father's connections and working under the tutelage of none other than David Rockefeller, where he would advise Rockefeller regarding strategic issues relating to South Africa, since Chase Manhattan was one of South Africa's biggest creditors. Later working at financial advisory firm Lazar Frere and returning to South Africa in 1979, where he helped found Rand Merchant Bank at just 29, showcasing the acumen that he developed during his time in New York. Johan eventually joined Rembrandt in 1984, where his father was facing difficulties with his partners at Rothmans International in London. The Rupert's opponents on the Rothmans board were concerned about politics and began excluding the company's representatives, including Anton Rupert, from board meetings due to their nationality and South Africa's apartheid policies. This treatment of Anton Rupert by board members, many of whom he had brought into the Rothmans fold, was a personal affront. Through a series of strong-arm tactics and boardroom skirmishes, Anton and Johan ultimately took control of the Rothmans board and forced out those members who opposed them. This allowed them to regain control and protect their interests in the tobacco industry. The family's presence in the worldwide luxury goods market started to solidify during the 1980s, guided by the leadership of Johan Rupert. Leveraging the existing business foundations laid by his father, Johan engineered a major corporate reorganization that allowed the family to expand beyond South Africa into luxury brands and position itself as a major player in the industry. Anton Rupert had gradually grown Rembrandt Group into a sizable conglomerate in South Africa with tobacco, industrial, and financial interests. Building on this, Johan Rupert sought to take the family empire global and identified luxury as an opportunity. In 1988, he founded Richemont as a spin-off of Rembrandt's international assets. Headquartered in Switzerland, this new vehicle allowed the Ruperts to diversify outside of apartheid-era South Africa. Richemont consolidated the family's growing interest in luxury goods, including Cartier, Dunhill, and Rothmans International. Johan took advantage of tumultuous times in the industry to acquire acquire prominent brands at reasonable valuations. Throughout the 1990s and 2000s under Johan's leadership, Richemont continued to acquire storied brands, particularly in jewelry, watches, and writing instruments. These included Van Cleef & Arpels, IWC, Panerai, Montblanc, and more. By the late 2000s, Richemont had grown into the world's third-largest luxury group, establishing the Rupert family as major players in the global luxury arena. Their early foresight to enter luxury positioned them to capitalize on explosive growth in emerging markets. Today, Richemont remains a highly profitable luxury powerhouse. Its portfolio of leading maisons in hard luxury categories represents a significant slice of the luxury watch and jewelry markets. While not the largest luxury group, the Rupert family transformed itself into a major force in luxury through Johan's bold strategic moves in the late 20th century. Rupert also owns a number of South African wine farms, including L'Ormerin, home to the luxury Franschhoek Hotel Le Franschhoek, as well, Rupert and Rothschild Vigneron. This wine business is a partnership between Rupert and the Rothschild family, uniting two legendary business dynasties. It produces acclaimed Bordeaux blend wines including Legende and Excellence. Headquartered in Stellenbosch, Remgro has over 30 investments spanning financial services, healthcare, consumer products, infrastructure, and more. Key holdings include large stakes in First Rand, RMB Holdings, Distel Group, RCL Foods, and Mediclinic International. Through these strategic minority stakes in major South African companies, Remgro wields significant influence. Its market capitalization currently stands at 74 billion rand, making it one of South Africa's largest investment holding companies. Remgro represented continuity in the Rupert family's South African business interests, even as Richemont expanded the luxury brands globally. Remgro's philosophy focused on long-term value creation and was more risk-averse than Richemont. In recent years under Johan's stewardship, Remgro has continued to reshape its portfolio, increasing exposure to consumer-related sectors. It also made its single largest investment with the recent acquisition of hospital group Mediclinic International. Remgro remains an integral part of the Rupert family's South African business legacy and continues Anton Rupert's strategy of diversified investments across multiple sectors. While the Ruperts have undoubtedly created jobs and wealth, their business empire and Johan's immense influence have proved controversial, especially as South Africa continues grappling with economic disparities. Despite his vocal opposition to the apartheid system and his condemnation of its immorality and oppression, Anton Rupert undeniably reaped substantial benefits from the very system he criticized. Without the segregation policies and the National Party's support for Afrikaner businesses, his empire's ascent might not have been possible. It's worth noting that his criticisms of the apartheid government should be seen in the context of his expanding global business operations and the growing anti-apartheid sentiment worldwide. In this light, it's plausible that his criticisms were influenced by a desire to advance his business interests. Anton Rupert built the family's original tobacco fortune during the apartheid era, when Rembrandt Group became one of South Africa's largest conglomerates. The historical link between the tobacco industry and slavery is a disturbing chapter in history. Enslaved African labor was extensively used to cultivate and harvest tobacco, subjecting individuals to inhumane conditions and hardships. Although slavery was abolished, concerns persist about modern tobacco farming practices. Many tobacco farm workers, particularly in developing countries, endure challenging conditions, low wages, and exposure to harmful chemicals without proper protection. Combining that with fact that smoking is the leading cause of preventable death, with 8 million deaths attributed to cigarette smoking every year. Since the Rupert's fortune is based off of the tobacco industry, the family has built an empire in arguably the cruelest and most sinister industry in human history, and a critical success factor for their business was how many people the company can hook on their products, whether that's tobacco or alcohol. When looking at the current societal plagues in South Africa, tobacco and alcohol addiction are among those at the top of the list, and while the average addict can feel destitute and impotent as a result of their dependence on these substances, the Ruperts have spawned a dynasty off of people's addictions. But it's fair to note that according to the book Stellenbosch Mafia, Johan is a smoker as well. Rembrandt's close association with the apartheid administration led to accusations of profiteering. As head of Rembrandt in the 1980s and 1990s, Johan was also tied to the apartheid legacy. Some allege Remgro maintains white minority economic power. Sensitivities around race and economic inequality have contributed to occasional public missteps for Johan. In a 2018 radio interview, he made contentious comments about black South Africans' spending habits, sparking backlash and accusations of racism. He later apologized. Johan Rupert has been linked to the concept concept of white monopoly capital, which refers to the perceived economic dominance of a small group of white individuals and companies in South Africa. The term has been used to critique the concentration of economic power and wealth in the hands of a few, particularly in the context of the country's historical inequalities and the legacy of apartheid. As a wealthy businessman and part of a prominent family, Johan has become the unofficial poster boy for white monopoly capital over the past few years. Richemont has also faced controversies, from protests over labor practices to accusations of unethical manufacturing in Myanmar. In 2022, a child labor scandal in Richemont's supply chain elicited condemnation. Despite the controversies, the Ruperts still maintain strong support in many business and political circles. While Johan Rupert remains a polarizing figure, it's essential to provide a comprehensive perspective on him and his family, acknowledging the positive contributions they've made. The Rupert family's remarkable success in business has enabled them to give back significantly to South Africa through various philanthropic initiatives. Under the leadership of Johan Rupert, they have made a meaningful impact on education, arts, and community development. The Rupert Education Foundation plays a pivotal role by providing scholarships, resources, and essential facilities to schools in need. Major donations have also been channeled into universities such as Stellenbosch and Pretoria to support the construction of new buildings, research programs, and initiatives benefiting disadvantaged students. The arts are a significant area of support, with the Rupert Museum dedicated to showcasing South African art and the annual Art South Africa Fair, serving as a platform for artistic expression. The Anton Rupert Art Foundation is committed to collecting and exhibiting the works of local artists. In the realm of community development, the Ruperts have been instrumental in establishing Business Partners, an organization aimed at assisting small and medium enterprises. They also lend their support to health, nutrition, and socio-economic initiatives through foundations bearing the Rupert family name. Housing for the poor has been a key focus area in the Rupert family's charitable efforts. The Business Partners Affordable Housing Program helped build over 18,500 homes and service sites for the disadvantaged from 1989 to 2021. They partnered with Habitat for Humanity in 2010 to build houses for farm worker families in South Africa's Western Cape. The Rupert family, often perceived as robber barons in South Africa, has indeed carved an indelible mark on the nation's business landscape. With their extensive links to other global magnates, their interconnected spheres of influence reach far beyond the borders of their homeland. As he marches into his 7th decade, Johan shows no signs of relenting, still wielding influence through unseen strings. The quest to reconcile business success with the pursuit of fairer wealth distribution remains an ongoing enigma. Thank you for watching. And if you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe.